Come on, if you're sleeping, wake up. It's a holiday for some. Come on, if you're sleeping, wake up. It's a holiday for some. Yeah, it's a holiday for some, not for everybody. So if you're sleeping, I'm gonna need you to get up. We won't be here forever. Just for a little bit, yeah, just for a little bit to touch base and let you know what's going on. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm hearing my music very, 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 very loud. Hopefully I can get that sorted. It's a holiday, October 19th, very important day in our history. And years later, we are still, unclear about a lot of things. While we are in the know about some things, we're unclear about a lot of things. And we have this conversation basically every year, But like I said, we got lots of things to talk about, 42 years of remembering what transpired, but we are still seeking answers. And I am of the belief, based on, how many years I've been on this rock, I'm of the belief now that what we don't know, we probably will never know. Because, those who do know, after how many years, and they're not, saying anything, I don't think they're going to at any point. Yeah, but we have so much to work with, and we still have a lot we don't know. But I just hope some way we will continue to preserve our history. We are small, but we have such a rich history for an island that is so, so, so small. We can boast of having a rich history. Many islands can boast of having a revolution and all of that, and people who lost their lives and American intervention, and I guess that is why people are the way they are now regarding, this new development regarding the radio doesn't close on holiday. No, radio don't close on holiday. No, 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 no. We're not that fortunate. The radio don't stop because it's a holiday. It work continues. Y'all out doing your thing. You don't wanna Yeah, you guys don't wanna be bored. You still want to be entertained. You're out driving, you're going on the beach, you're going to do whatever. Y'all still want to be entertained, so we can't close. Radio don't close. Nope. Even if we're not here, um we're still on air. And I didn't get the memo to stay home, so I have to come to work, right? But it's all good. It's all good. But for those of you here, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's not the regular ladies' room, hence I didn't do the promo and all of that. Just thought I'd check in. The bills still gotta be paid, right, Karina? And just checking with y'all. We had some nice weather on the weekend, my kind of weather. It was a home watch movie, Netflix kind of weekend, just chill. Yeah, it's a holiday, October 19th, National Heroes Day, but whenever a holiday falls on a Sunday, it rolls over to the next day. So today is like the official holiday, but I guess next year it's gonna be Monday will be the 19th, so then we'll have the holiday. So that's what it is. And some people been messaging me asking me this morning, like, y'all don't even know what's going on in the country, but they're making noise and confusion. Anywho's, hope you all good. Come on in. Where is what's her face? She unexpected live this morning, so she didn't make an appearance. Morning, Nissy. How are you guys doing up north? The folks in the US, the UK, Canada, wherever else you are. Good morning, G-Eds. Morning, Linda. Hey, Anesta. Hope you're good. Andrea, happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Clarina, good morning. Jenny, good morning. Jenny Sparky doesn't sleep. What you doing in here? Morning, Lindy. Hey, sis. Happy Monday. The folks in Florida, good morning. Rachel Samuel, good morning. Morning, Anik. Morning, morning, morning. I got into my friend. Morning time. Morning, Lindy. Melvin Brown, good morning, brother. Hope you're doing good. Kizzy, good morning. Happy Monday to each and every one of you. Teresa, Sonia, good morning. Happy Monday. Good morning, Michelle. Who else is here? Mel says, see, at least somebody appreciate me. Mel appreciates the check-in. The rest of you come asking about if radio station doesn't close on holiday. Anybody cooking oil down? I didn't get any oil down memo, but I did see Ant's Nest put out a flyer that they're having oil down today on their menu, and that's all the way down on the Morris Bishop International Airport. So they have a nice menu set out. So I guess that's the only place we'll be seeing that today. But we have food from yesterday. Who cooking food today? Sunday, people have food leftovers from yet. Who going and start up in kitchen today and stress? One like a day to rest. This one come talking about cooking oil down. Oh, they hate to see people relax themselves, eh? Like a long time before your parents see you sit down, if you can't find something to do, you just finished doing something. Ease people up, let them relax themselves. No oil down cooking today. Can't take on the heavy food today. Shavosky, good morning. Are you working on holiday? Like you own the place? Nah, you work holiday. Sometimes we get holiday off, we get holiday on, you know. But today is one of those holidays I'm here, so it's not new. It's not new. We do holiday in and out sometimes. Hey Marva, morning. Hope you're good. Lisa, good morning. The WhatsApp is not working. Over the weekend, like I said, we had some weather, and for those of you who were asking about 95.1, it's back up now. We had some bad weather on the weekend, lightning and thunder and all of that. So you know what happens. Usually get the power interrupted, or if it's struck by lightning. So we had a little disruption on the weekend, but I'm happy to report we are cooking with gas. Ray from New York, good morning. Precious Jewel. GS didn't realize that it was a holiday today. Yes, it is. You know, when it's a holiday, all you have to do is check Facebook. And when you see people don't post a lot, it's because they're not on their workplace, so they ain't doing much. Shante, I was asking for you. Like if you are one of them who didn't expect me to be here, I'll be live this morning. Darren Lang, good morning. Happy Monday. Jan Addy, good morning. Just as my money finish in England, you're working on a holiday. I was a real sad thing on the amount, you know, like I don't work holidays. I do work holidays. Sometimes, depending on what holiday it is, we get holiday in. Sometimes we work holiday off, you know, depending. We're not, we don't have a big stick on slave ship running over here. We get holidays off and we work some. So it's not every holiday you would find me here, or we rotate depending. But I don't mind. My money finishing. Chanel Casher Williams, good morning. Anyways, so I got a couple things. G Hoops, good morning. G Hoops, never seen you, but welcome. Rendell Amade, Yvette James. Yeah, share the live and come. Let's talk about this. Good morning, Angela. Hey, Dion Brafford, Empress Jade Grant, big up yourself, Marianne. Ahama Raybon, good morning. Ian Baker, good morning. And everybody else listening at home or listening via the Power app. Shout out to all those who walked the runway this morning. You know, the Morris Bishop International Airport. They had the walk the runway this morning, and it's so good to see so many of you turned up and turned out to, you know, walk the runway. Shout out to the Power crew who represented, and from all accounts seemed to be a good initiative. Hopefully next year, God's will, or some other time when they have it, I'll be able to attend. But shout outs to everyone who made their way to the airport this morning to walk the runway. Adele Logie, good morning. Doobie, big up yourself. Lydia says it's overtime pay. I used to love it. Donna Springer, big up yourself. I have a video to show, and I want to talk about this because Pele Dabo, morning, you good? I hold on, let me just get my song up. Before I get into it, hey Alexander says good morning, my favorite radio announcer. Thank you. We go mind yard business and talk about Tiki address. A lot of people here don't know about it, so it's hard to talk about because it seems as though me and you live in Jamaica, the rest of them live here. So it's hard to. I don't have no problem with Tiki and your address. That's who he is, you know. To whatever makes a man happy, whatever makes somebody, whatever floats their boats, you know. I just find people get too worked up over things that don't really affect them, affect their daily lives. I'm not about to lose sleep or about to work myself up or stress myself out over what another man or not what another woman does. Whatever makes them happy, whatever they eat doesn't make me defecate, and vice versa. So I just find people just get too emotionally worked up over somebody else's doing. You know, if he wants to wear his red dress, that's on him. And he looked pretty good to me. It was well put together. The only thing was the white bra, probably would have done a black. But other than that, um, you know, seeing so many people getting worked up about it, I believe we have better things to work ourselves off over than, you know, stress about what somebody else decides to do. Somebody else's sexuality, whatever they choose to do, it's on them. And in 2025, we're 2 months short of 2026. I don't see why we're still stressing and working ourselves up over other people's sexuality, other people's preferences. That is their choice. Long as it does not interfere with me, doesn't infringe on my rights, I'm not about to lose no sleep over anything that does not, you know, frankly put, not my business. And I think that is something we tend to do a lot of, involve ourselves in things that are of no concern to us, things that are not our business. We tend to work ourselves up over it. And sometimes the person who involved are even stressing themselves out the way some of our leaders work up all themselves over people's business. We have bigger things to work ourselves up over. Now, I've been making the rounds on social media, and of course, you know, about a week or two ago, the news broke that, you know, the U.S. is seeking permission to do the radar business here, and Sonia, leave me alone. Shante, no, that is for Elephant Man's music video. That is no real thing. Elephant Man music video, they got whatever. So, hey Don. So the past couple of weeks we saw this whole radar business. Now this one said, "Well, come and tell me I miss out on Anson's breakfast. You know, I walk in this morning, when him pull up thing and drop off for me. Come tell me what I miss out on Anson's breakfast after I walk now." I tell you. Imagine that. Imagine, you know, your boss go and walk this morning and she's sending me a message that I miss out on breakfast. And she know what come and do she walk, you know, instead of bring up a breakfast for me. You know, I don't refuse answers, telling me no what I miss out. Boy, I tell you. As I was saying, so yeah, over the past couple of weeks, we saw the news that the US is requesting permission, blah blah blah. And you know, everybody came out and what have you, said their piece. Programs were held, this, that, and the other. Was it last week? Last week, when Thursday, Prime Minister Brown stated that he is not interested in having anything placed in his country, no interest, whatever. Okay, that's on him. But I don't think I saw any requests made of them. But nonetheless, it was made of us, but he gave his stance on it. CARICOM later put out a statement saying that heads of government of the Caribbean Community CARICOM met and discussed various issues on the regional agenda, including the increased security buildup in the Caribbean and the potential impacts on member states. Save in respect of Trinidad and Tobago, who reserved its position, heads agreed on the following. They reaffirmed the principle of maintaining the Caribbean region as a zone of peace and the importance of dialogue and engagement towards the peaceful resolution of disputes and conflict. CARICOM remains willing to assist towards that objective. CARICOM head of government reiterated their continued commitment to fighting narco trafficking and the illegal trade in small arms and light weapons, which adversely affect the region. They underscored that efforts to overcome these challenges should be through ongoing international cooperation and within international law. They reaffirmed support for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of countries in the region and the safety and livelihoods of the people of the region. So that is a message put out by a statement by the Caribbean Community CARICOM. So they discussed it for hours and they finally put out this release. The government of Grenada, when this thing came out, did put out a release saying that they received, and of course, basically saying, they will do whatever, speak on it at a later date, or whatever the case might be. I'm trying to find. But as we know, the Prime Minister has been out of state for the past week or two. So we have not seen him say anything about it. But my thing is, and I'm seeing a lot of yeah, I'm supposed to get into the action on Friday. Yeah, don't forget on Friday it's Tales from the Crates. Big up Howie T and the entire team who's gonna be here, Power Crew. Howie T's like now a member of staff. So can't wait to welcome him to Tales yet again. So many folks were up in arms about the Prime Minister need to say something and we need to say no. And I'm listening to the rancor, I'm listening to the back and forth, I'm listening to, I'm reading comments, I'm listening to certain programs, and I'm like, are people understanding the seriousness of this? Or is it people just running on their emotions? And like I said, there's no right or wrong feeling in this, because at the end of the day, people feel what they feel. People have a right to feel what they feel. But the thing is, this isn't an open and closed situation where you just, a country, the world police, makes a request and you just say no, without sitting down and having discussions with like-minded people and coming up with a reason. If it's no, this is why. If it's yes, these are the terms and conditions. But it's like some of you just want people to jump up and just say no. And I'm all for people protesting, people standing up for what they believe in. But I'm asking the question, has a response been given? Because as far as I'm concerned, we have not said yes, or we have not seen anything that said no as yet. Nothing. No yes, no no. So we're still not sure what the response or what the decision is. And we await that. But people are protesting and saying that the Prime Minister should say no and what have you for whatever reason. But are we asking the questions as to, okay, we say no. Are we prepared to deal with the repercussions? Can we step away and deal with the repercussions? Can we handle the repercussions? Because knowing how the orange man is petty and everything has to go his way, like it, hate it, whatever. And he's quick to drop a tariff here, quick to pull this there, pull this there. This is not an open and shut case where you just say yes or no. You have to weigh all the pros and cons. So those who are saying that he should just say no. Diplomacy don't work like that, especially when you're dealing with somebody like the orange man. You have to have all your ducks in a row. You can't just jump up and say no. That's not how diplomacy works. You have to sit down, have discussions with people, with like-minded people who understand and who can advise whether it's yes, whether it's no. We know we're dealing with a bully, right? So for people to just jump up and be like, okay, we should just say no based on how we feel or based on emotions without thinking about, the repercussions or the disadvantages or the pros and the cons, That's not how it works. And it's like some of you are in like we want to strong arm and bully people into doing what we want them to do without understanding this is not a one-man show. We have to take the entire island, the entire country, tri-island state into consideration as to what we are dealing with and how we stand to benefit or lose from this. All of you. Oh, nice. Okay, I didn't realize you was here already. Yes, I'm just a serious. So I came across this yesterday. I was looking at the Bob report and I saw. I don't know. It's like, anyways, I came across this video of Catholic priest Gerald Paul, who says, well, apparently he's on some suspensions and challenging the church on the Gaza genocide. And he says, should Grenada agree to allow U.S. military assets on the island, he would raise resistance against the government. I'm not sure what he means by that. But let me play this video here.
I'm not joking about that.
Hold on.
And I support, if he decides to let these gangsters and them come in Grenada, I am going to publicly state that I remove all my support from him. And all people that know me and all my influence will be used against him. I'm not joking about that. And no is no. End of talk.
Trina Ross, yes, you're hearing incorrectly because you heard a part and you left out the other part, which I said. We know who we're dealing with. That doesn't mean you say yes or no, but all of that has to be taken into consideration. I never said because we know he's a bully and we're afraid of his tantrum, Grenada needs to say yes. I'm not sure where you heard that, but I hope you didn't hear it from me because I never said Grenada needs to say yes or Grenada needs to say no. What I said was understanding the nature of the beast and who we're dealing with. I'm sure all of that needs to be taken into consideration before a decision, whether it's yes or no, is taken. And I think by all indications, we should have an understanding of who we have as Prime Minister and the confidence that folks placed in him. And I trust we have the same confidence that they will make the best decision for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Not for himself, but for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. So let me repeat, understanding who we're dealing with, I'm sure they're taking all of that into consideration. Because saying no could have repercussions based on who we're dealing with. I never said you should say yes on that premise. I'm just saying, I'm sure all of that is being taken into consideration. The pros, cons, advantages, disadvantages, how we stand to benefit, how we stand to lose, what can be some of the repercussions that we have to deal with based on the person that we're dealing with. Are we prepared to deal with those? How do we put contingency measures in place in case he decides to retaliate? All of that, I'm sure, is being looked at, and it has to be because we understand, we're seeing it. Every Monday morning, somebody doesn't agree with him, they get something thrown at them. Visas, banned from entering, tariffs added to them. So all of that, you have to take all of those things into consideration. It's not a case of just jump up and just say no, and whatever comes, we deal with it. That is not how it works. That is not how it works. You don't just say no and then await the repercussions if there are any. You sit and you look and you listen and you put everything in place depending on what your response is. Yeah? So if they decide to go with yes, they'll have the reasons. They decide to go with no, they'll also have the reasons. But nobody can strong arm anybody into making a decision. I'm sure the decision given will be done in the best interests of all, whether it's yes or no. both will have repercussions. Say yes, it will have. Say no. So it's caught between a rock and a hard place. So that's why you can't just jump up and say no. Because either way, there will be. If we say yes, there will be. If we say no, there will be. So it's not something you just get up and decide on overnight. It is something that requires a lot of thinking and thoughts put into it and conversations and what have you. The facts are there about so I hope Trina Ross, I hope you understand I hope you understand where we're coming from. But the thing about it is, if everybody stand, it's one thing. Because we have Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, saying she stands 100 with the US and supports what they're doing. She supports what they're doing. So yes, we make a fuss about CARICOM this, CARICOM that, but, and then we have Gaston Brown who said no. So if we are not doing this as a unified front, it's almost like it's each man to himself. We're just paying lip service, everybody's saying whatever. They put out this nice, tame statement, but at the end of the day, it all boils down to all country for themselves, depending on what they stand to gain or what they stand to lose. So yes, CARICOM can put out statement, but at the end, we have to decide, or the government has to decide under the leadership of Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, what our stance is, or what, if we're going with or against it. But CARICOM has always been all man for themselves, even though we have this whole nice meetings and this, that, and the other. Everybody does what they think is best for their country. So this is, Lisa says, this is like trying to figure out where it is hotter, the frying pan or the fire. So we're praying for wisdom. So do the potential negative ramifications outweigh what a positive answer will cause? That is the million-dollar question. This is as emotions are running high and they're not using the cranium. Decisions have to be weighed. And that is what folks not seem to understand. Everybody's just saying, oh, he should just say no. And, you know, going back and saying that the Prime Minister of Antigua asked to put a base there? Hold on. Somebody just sent me. Hold on here. So because somebody said no, we should just say no. We don't have our own we can't think for ourselves, we can't make our own decisions. We should go with no because somebody said no, we should go with yes because somebody says yes. No, whatever decision is made at the end of the day, month, week, year, it is in the interest, it should be in the interest of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. So instead of all this tugging and fussing and fighting, what we should be doing now is praying for wisdom, praying for common sense and wisdom to prevail. That our leaders would make the right decisions in our best interests. Because like I said, I'm all for democracy. I'm all for people protesting. I'm all for people standing up for their rights and what have you. But what I am just flabbergasted by is that a decision has not been made and people are protesting against what? Decision was not made as yet. And I don't think something like that, we need to strong arm or bully anybody into making a decision. What we need to do is offer how can we assist? How can we be part of the decision making? even if it means asking them to do town hall meetings, to hear our voices, to get feedback from the public, from learn from professionals, from people who have a better understanding of all of this. Maybe something like that. But you're just seeing people running all over the place saying, and just to me, it's just a whole lot of gaslighting and working people up and people getting into the emotions. And we already understand, especially around this time, how people are with all that transpired. We understand the relationship with the US. We have a lot of unresolved issues and feelings towards them. And, that is understandable. But decisions cannot be made solely on how someone feels. Monty says, whereas I agree with the essence of what you're saying, Aruna, the answer should be no, for the simple reason we don't facilitate a bully. Also in life, the time morals and principles supersedes the potential tantrums of a functional psychopath. And that is okay as well. Like I said, I'm not in for whatever decision. Whatever decision, like I said, I hope it is in the best interest of all. So even if it is yes or if it's no, it has to be thought out. It cannot just be jump up and say no. That is my contention. We can't just, a request was made, we can't have a prime minister that's jumping on the next day saying we say no. I'm sure when and if a no is given, we will be given the reasons why, and it will be conveyed in a proper manner. It wouldn't be just on, purely emotions. And that is understandable. That is understandable. That is my thing. There's a lot of people who agree that it should be no. A lot of people. And there are others who are neither here nor there because they can't be bothered. And there are some who are saying, you know what, whatever decision is made, I'm fine with it. I trust that the government will make the right one in the interest of our people. So either way, it's almost like we're in wait and see mode. Yeah? But my whole thing is, too many of us just run purely on emotions, or we hear somebody say this, so say, and we don't even have a reason why. Just say no. But the government can't operate from, we can, but they can't operate from a place of emotions. They have to be reasonable, they have to be practical, and it's not something you just jump up and just do away with like it's nothing. That is my point. They will have to decide what is in the best interest of us, of our people. Someone says it's Antigua and their tourism is far larger than ours. Lydia says a referendum should be had, so whatever the people say should go. By so doing, there'll be no backlash on the government. At the end of the day, the government, they would have to, and they will take the brunt of the responsibility, and it's a decision they have to make on our behalf and take it into consideration. That's why I'm saying maybe we probably some town halls or some other meetings or whatever to get a feel of how people are about this whole matter, because people are passionate about it. There are people who are very, very emotional. Like I forget to have this thing on the screen all this time. Let me play it again before I take it down for those just joining.
And I support him. If he decides to let these youngsters and them come in grade, I am going to publicly state that I remove all my support from him, and all people that know me and all my influence will be used against him. I'm not joking about that. And no is no. End of club.
Okay. Don't know what that means, but that is Gerald Paul's take on the situation. That if they were to go ahead, then he would withdraw all his support. Dwayne, tell us what the question is. Are Grenadians prepared for what saying no will mean for them? Dwayne, I am not sure that our people even care about that for that matter. That's why I'm saying That's where the government comes in, because for us, for the populists, a lot of the voices are just say no. But if the government were to operate like we are operating, then we would be in serious problems. So we could sit back and say no, but they have to dot all the I's, cross all the T's before they come back with a yes or a no. Before they say the ayes have it, or whatever. They have to take a lot of things into consideration. They have to, I'm sure they're in dialogue with the folks to have a better understanding as to what is this request about, how does it benefit us, what is the purpose of it, and all those things that we don't have the answers for. Like I said, we are just going for on emotion, say no and say no, but they can't just operate from a say no position. Just say no position. They have to have a better understanding of the situation. And like I said, at the end of the day, yes or no, is going to impact us in some way or the other. So that is what we await, their decision. This is the clap on them went too strong. You showed the people in there agree. Yeah, I find the clap was kind of lackluster too, you know. Let me play it again. I ain't find it Gerald Paul, I ain't find it too with you, you know. I find them clap on them was kind of weak. You sure your people and them on the same stand, they prepared to take that stance with you? Because sometimes, a lot of the time, people will juke you to go in front and talk. And they saying, I will speak on behalf. And when you turn back, you know you came in the room with about 100 people. When you look back, everybody scatter when you're back turned and you didn't realize they're gone, you know. People will juke you and tell you, yeah, man, go on, I'm starting with you. And you see it in workplaces all the time. Employees have a problem and they appoint you as a spokesman or the spokeswoman to speak on their behalf. And they organize meeting with management and HR, and they appoint you to speak on behalf of the rest of them to state how they feel and blah, blah, blah. So you know you're going with all your chest because everybody behind you. And you know when you have, like when you're going to school and you know you want to stand up to the bully and you see a whole bunch of your friends behind you, they follow you, yeah, go on, we go fight with you. And then when you reach and stand up in front of the bully now, and you see the bully start to laugh, and you're wondering why the bully laughing, and you're turning around now to ask your friend why they laughing, and nobody, all man scatter. So it kind of feeling like that is what's going on here, because the confidence in which he say, people standing with him, people that stand with you in mouth but not in action. When it's time to really stand with you, that is where the problem come in. So I find the clap on them some kind of, somebody just brought it to my attention. Let me play it again and see.
If he decides to let these youngsters and them come in Grenada, I am going to publicly state that I remove all my support from him, and all people that know me and all my influence will be used against him. I'm not joking about that. And no is no. End of talk.
I find I hear about 4 clap there, boy. I clap on them. I finally clap on them clapping. I find them clap on them clapping at all. They're like we, you know when somebody say, like somebody talking and you say like we, and in your mind they're saying we, but you are telling the person not to get for them expression like we. We. Look, says any Grenadian in their right mind would say no if there were no repercussions. However, that is not the issue. Saying no could result in higher tariffs on imports and exports, which would drive an already poor country into destitution. Forget about traveling to the US, forget about obtaining green card. We also know if roles are reversed, Trump would say no before you could blink. But he has the political and military power to back up his no. Grenada doesn't. This is a dancer who 2 green a clap. No, the clap on them ain't clapping, Papa. Edison says, I think that Trump is more interested in the use of the runway. You can place a radar on some suitable hill in the south. Why the airport? If it's a war scenario and the radar detects an enemy, where are they going to scramble from? Or is it missiles? Don't trust Trump. Lyndon says Grenadians are emotional but thoughtful people. I think you underestimate their capacity to understand is going to stand for something or for. Huh? I'm not underestimating anybody. I'm just saying that we cannot just think from an emotional standpoint. For me to underestimate the capacity thinks that we are stupid or something, and I know that's not we're not. We didn't come through evolution being stupid, or we didn't get where we are 51 years and counting being stupid. We are very well capable of thinking. That is why I have confidence that whatever decision is made, it will be in the best interest of all of us, you know? But I'm just speaking on some people who have just said no for saying no. When you ask them why, you will get, I don't like that man. He's a bully. I'm speaking about those people. I'm not speaking about people who are able to bring to the table, okay, this is why I say no. And this is my thoughts on it. And they can give you reasons, not just, I don't like the man. That is what I'm speaking of. That is what I'm speaking of. Grenada is a sovereign state and as such should be treated with respect. We should not give in to bullying. Having a military base in wake of aiding the U.S. is in attacking Venezuela. It's like aiding a stranger to attack your own brother. Sometimes a stance on principle and morals is more than dollars and cents. That's a good point, but like I said, no decision has not been made as yet. So I can't say whether we're going after dollars and cents or we're standing on moral ground. And last time I checked, Grenada, wait, hello, we still under British we're still under British ruler. So as much as we make our own decisions, yada yada yada, we are not as fully independent as we should be. I mean, we may not be bowing to Hoinim, the king of the road, but we still have a face. We still have a face on my money. So that's why I said a lot of things have to be taken into consideration. It's not just a wake up and Grenadians are emotionally as thoughtful, though I may have to side eye a bit. Nah. What is this wee business? No, I don't think the wee. The wee. No. That nobody can catch me with this wee thing again. I go through that too much time in my life already. When people tell you, yeah, starting with you, man. Yeah, we there, yeah, we there with you. We. And then when time come now, like they're sending you to speak on behalf of the employees. We, everybody, yeah. We ain't like tell management we ain't happy with the place. Things ain't going right. We ain't happy with management. We ain't happy with the conditions, the working conditions. And then they ask now, management asks, well, who else is not happy? Everybody head down, everybody scratching their head. Everybody looking up in the ceiling, eyes right. No governor general, but everybody eyes right. And you now looking like the troublemaker. Like you just get up and decide on your own to call meeting with management to discuss issues in your workplace, only to find out you alone. You stand alone. So Japan, make sure that the we you're speaking of the people are really with you, because when it comes to politics and other things, it's a different story. King Charles. And we have the Royal Grenada Police Force. So there's a lot of things to be taken into consideration. Like I said, I'm not hurting my head about it. I just believe that they will make the best decision in the interest of us all. I'm sorry. Eddie, you could have called, if you wanted to make a point. The WhatsApp is down. That's why I'm not giving out the WhatsApp number, but 440-9595, you can still call the landline. Yeah, that's scratches. You'll make a spin around to sort out the number, the WhatsApp. So I'm sure folks have been messaging or sending voice notes via the WhatsApp, and I'm not able to get it for that reason. But like I said, we cannot strong arm the government into making the decision we want them to make. We have to hope. We have to hope they make the best decision for us all after weighing the pros and cons, advantages, disadvantages, finding out what is this really about, what is the purpose, what is the intent, all of that, I'm sure, will be taken into consideration. It wouldn't be just a jump up and it's not on our time, and I know we await anxiously. We wish like yesterday we could have a response to get this out of the way, but I guess it's taking them longer because they have things to consider. There are a lot of things to consider, and Maria Olive says there could be pros and cons. We should not act on emotions, but take everything into consideration for the best interests of Grenada and Grenadians. And I think that is what is being done. I think that's what's being done at this point in time, you know. But sometimes in our haste to get something, we can miss out on other things. So let's hope that them taking their time to discuss and sort it out will be what most are clamoring for, which is a no. Yeah, and that is my stance on it. But I just don't like the strong arm tactics where we always feel like, because we're accusing one person of being a bully, but in the same hand we want to do that with somebody else. We're accusing the orange man of being a bully, but in the same breath we want to strong arm people into making the decision we want them to make by saying we wouldn't support them or we'll pull back support if they don't do as we say. No. We can't be calling one man a bully and then you're doing the same thing that the one man that we're accusing of being a bully is doing. I don't understand it. If we trust them to make the right decision, that is what they will do. Lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge God and he'll direct your path. Yeah? So a request was made. Like Jan said, a request was made. So they gather their thoughts, gather their allies, CARICOM, OECS, you analyze the situation, get your think tanks and respectfully answer the request in the best interests of the Caribbean region. She says Grenada is 100 miles from Venezuela. Grenada depends on sea and air transportation for people and cargo. If a rash decision is made, y'all think anybody come into party in the war zone? Because right now Grenada is buzzing. We will quickly be transformed from a jab decision to a bad decision. A bad decision will affect the entire Caribbean. The Caribbean is stronger together. This cannot be a hasty decision. If we trigger a hasty decision, JetBlue and cruise ships and SG are affected, we are screwed. We've gotten used to rash, costly, expensive, bad decisions made on our behalf that we are not in our best interest and was not in our best interest over the years. We don't know how to react now. Says, I feel bad for Dickon Mitchell because he hasn't really caught a break yet. As soon as it looked like the trajectory was smooth sailing, barrel showed, then the threat of deportees that didn't belong to Grenada, talk of a ban on fish export, now is the USA versus Venezuela saga. Call it a conspiracy theory, but for a little island who has flown below the radar for so long, it seems that we have a bull's eye on our back since the government change. Even when Grenada was a hub for money laundering, questionable investors, Grenada wasn't under such intense scrutiny. So that is her take on it. And I tend to agree that when a request is made, you gather your thoughts, you gather your allies, you analyze the situation, and then you respectfully answer that request in the best interests of your country. So you not just jump up and no. So that's my take on it. And that's my time. But again, I just beg us to be patient, continue to lift up our leaders in prayer and for them to make the best decisions, for hindsight, for wisdom, for understanding, for vision, to make the best decision. Yeah? That is where we are now. And hopefully we will have a clearer understanding or a better picture of what it is about and what our response is. And then we can gallop from there. We can gallop from a place of what we do know. But galloping with something we don't know, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. But hey, to each his own. Let's just continue to This person says be vigilant and lift them up in our prayers to do the right thing, make the right decision, and we take it from there. Yeah. So don't forget Friday night before the holiday. We're on the Sky Lounge at Lava Lanes for Tales from the Crates. So hoping to see you guys there. And I'll see y'all tomorrow, same time, same place, to pick up where we left off. Yeah. Have a great holiday Monday, everybody. Stay powered up. Thanks for listening and watching.